2010. We are here on one of the most famous Call of Duty maps, Nuketown. And today, I would like you to join me as I wander through a handful of these Black Ops maps and see what details we can see. So here we are in this model suburban community. At least that's what it seems like at first glance. Military police, U.S. Army. This is, however, not an ordinary suburban community. As we can see, there are mannequins standing around, and the community is fenced off. And that is, of course, because this town is merely a model designed for... here we have the Treyarch Unified School District bus. Treyarch, of course, developed this game. And we have the Welcome to Nuketown sign over here, with a population tracker that tells you how many players are in the game. And some symbols on the bottom here. Treyarch symbol, I think that's Infinity Ward's symbol. Westward moving and delivery. Nevada, USA. Nevada. Isn't that one of those things people that live there, they get mad at you if you say it the wrong way? Anyway, as I was saying, this town is going to be blown up by a nuclear bomb. This is a testing site, essentially, designed to see what the effects of a nuke would be on an American town. Here we have the Woods mailbox. The Woods family lives here. And of course, this is a reference to a character in the campaign. And on the other mailbox across the street, we will see a similar reference. And it's my understanding that this map was inspired by Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where Indiana stumbles into a community like this, and the nuke goes off and he survives in a lead-lined refrigerator. Sorry, the face is suddenly coming into focus. Anyway, I think that is true. I believe the developers have confirmed that this was inspired by that movie. Scientific beef. Scientific beef. And that's a weird piece of trivia for me because, you know, I sort of, that throws me off because I would have imagined that Crystal Skull came out after this game. In my head, if you had asked me the timeline of events, I would have said confidently that of course Black Ops came out before they rebooted Indiana Jones. There is the nuclear bomb, and at the end of every match, that nuke falls and explodes, as it is showing the after-game scoreboard. We have a little hidden path here. You can drive the RCXD kill streak down that path. And back here we have a little garden area, just with some dirt, and I don't really know what these are supposed to be. They don't look like fruits or anything, but I don't know, maybe they're just plastic balls. Here we have another mannequin here that goes out of focus when we scope in. And a little dust devil whirling by. I think there's always an Easter egg on this map. If you... Oh, and there's a double rainbow over there, of course. The classic double rainbow of Nuketown. Double rainbow all the way across the sky. It's a very old video, a very old viral video that's a reference to. If you remember that video, you're a certified geezer these days. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, but it's true. So here we have some books with some little Easter eggs here. That's Edward Richtofen, of course a character from the Zombies mode, and DG2 and DG3. Of course, Richtofen invented the Wunderwaffe DG2, mein greatest invention. Yeah. So that's just a little Easter egg there, and I think all of these books, yeah, they're all just repetitions. Not sure who this guy is. Some military man. So the iterations of Nuketown are endless. It comes back in every Black Ops game. And I think each one has an Easter egg if you shoot off all of the mannequins' heads very quickly at the start of a match. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if all the games do that. But in this one, I believe it plays the Rolling Stones song, Sympathy for the Devil, if you do that. Downstairs we have some very chic decor. Some very chic decor. Another mannequin design here. Sorry, I don't know why this is, I find this so funny, but I do. So it's fun seeing Nuketown get iterated on with every game because they always switch it up. Change up the design, change up the aesthetics, while leaving the basic layout the same, the basic geometry the same. So we have this moving truck here. The center area between the two houses is always a very intense zone in matches. A little stack of paintings here against the moving truck wall. And here, of course, we have the other mailbox. Mason, Mason, Woods and Mason. And if you played the campaign, you know who those names are referring to. So this other house, I will admit, I think it's a little less chic. Didn't have that, it doesn't have that sleek red design of the other house in the kitchen. Not as much art hanging on the walls. And that's a president that is William Henry Harrison. Most famous for dying like 14 days into his term or something like that. Somewhat famously, he gave his inaugural address. Now that's George Washington, of course. Harrison gave his inaugural address. I don't know who this is. Another more modern photo. He gave his inaugural address in the rain, I believe. It was very cold out and rainy. And he didn't wear his overcoat because he wanted to seem vigorous and youthful. And he gave a very, very long speech. And then he caught pneumonia and died shortly after. And then his vice president was Tyler, right? John Tyler, is that right? Because one of their campaign slogans, it was Tippy Canoe and Tyler do. 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 Tippy Canoe being a reference to, I believe, a battle that Harrison had fought in, or perhaps been a general at. The Battle of Tippecanoe. Tippecanoe and Tyler do. Tippecanoe and Tyler do. So if we come out the back here, we have a little garage, a little empty garage with some more scientific beef. And in this back garden, we have a small, sort of a gazebo thing here with some potted plants in it. And a little power station area out there connected to some telephone lines. Be a nice little place to live if it weren't about to be exploded by a nuclear bomb. And this garden back army gardener who came in here and was planting, you know, daisies and bougainvilleas and stuff, knowing that they were all going to get erased by a nuclear bomb. And of course there's a little fallout shelter here. A little fallout shelter. But with that, what do you say we move on to our next map of the day? Welcome to Firing Range. Firing Range. Firing Range is another great map from BlOps, one of my favorites. We have a marine helicopter off in the distance there, with its rotors spinning, and the path past this barbed wire continues down to a coastline with the little watchtower area. And in my BlOps 2 maps video, which I released some months ago, we looked at a remake of this map called, I think, Studio. And in that map, this whole area was a movie studio. But this is the original. And it is a firing range, as in the name, but more than that, it is sort of a live fire training course. And you'll see what I mean by that as we explore the map further, but right now I'm just enjoying looking at all this stuff out of bounds over here. We have some structures over there, maybe barracks or armories or something. And here we have an obstacle course full of netting to climb, ropes to swing on, all sorts of difficult hazards to navigate through. And that's the map. And we'll get there in a minute, but what's this say? Mattu Airfield Operations. I'm not sure what the Mattu 62 maybe. USMC is painted over there. The US Marine Corps. So this is a marine training area. As we have seen on the helicopter, and now painted by the obstacle course. A water tower off in the distance. A water tower off in the distance. And over here we have a volleyball court, a little volleyball area for the soldiers to play on. So this seems to be a sort of a shower area. And that is some nastiness left in the sink there. Oh boy. Somebody was having a bad day. And yeah, some showers over here. And here we have a target of a very bad looking man holding a woman hostage. And we see anything under here? No. So those targets there, like that one of the terrorist and the woman, quarantine. They are everywhere on this map because, as I said, this is a live fire training course, and so there's lots of targets for the people undergoing training to use for target practice in high-stress situations. I'm also noticing these footprints leading over to this sink full of nastiness and now walking away. Can we follow these out? Oh, that's even more slop on the ground there. It seems like they come to a stop, but once you get outside, you can't trace them anymore. Whoever was coughing up blood, hope they got the medical attention they needed. So we have a fence here marking the border of the map, and some death down there, military death down there, that area. I don't really know the name of the military equipment that I couldn't pop with any degree of accuracy, but seems like something could call him strike in the multiplayer like a kill streak, if that makes any sense. But if you happen to know the name, you can go ahead and drop it in the young comments. I'd be very interested to know exactly what it is. Restricted area. While on this installation, all personnel on the property under their control are subject to search. Use of deadly force authorized. 168-21 Internal Security Act 1960. Internal Security Act 1960. So if we make our way down here, down this way, we have some of these moving targets, you can see, on their little tracks, moving back and forth and back and forth. Some sheet metal structures, sheet metal cover, small building here with plywood in the windows. And this fellow who looks very angry, very threatening, Russian with his star Ushanka cap and a Kalashnikov in his hands. No unauthorized vehicles beyond this point. Gateway to hell. Gateway to hell. Dukon Company, you are entering quarantine. Liberated by BN 7th Cavalry. Mike, current date 7 April 68. is a veteran of Vietnam and has some, strong feelings about things. And he saw, I think it was my brother, playing multiplayer. And he was using the Scorpion submachine gun. The Scorpion. And my grandfather told him, "Why are you using that Russian gun?" He told him to change his weapon. He didn't want his grandson using a Russian gun, which I thought was pretty funny. So this structure over here, kind of empty. This seems to be a little place to test out your long-range weapons on the target, drifting back and forth over there. And on this table we have a collection of papers that are all just kind of unreadable. Illegible. 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 Palm trees. Some palm trees. Some lights and a loudspeaker up on a pole. And we have another Jeep here. A Jeep. Oh, it actually has the logo on it. Jeep. Jeep. Was this, like product placement? They sponsored? Did they pay Activision to get their Jeep logo on the vehicles in their game? Here we have some lockers. And the restricted area sign, same as before. We can make our way down here, where there is this little interesting cubby, a little cubby that you can just crouch and walk into. Just a funny little place they put in. You can't be with a shotgun. You can get the drop on people running by. And out here we have a bunch of tires, piles and piles of tires, piles and piles of tires, piles, tires, rubber tires, rubber tires, rubber tires, rubber tires, rubber tires. Rubber tires, rubber tires, rubber tires, rubber tires. This is a real firing range area, lots of targets to shoot here. Some stationary, some moving. And a car here. Small building. We have these rounds here, all in a box, half spilling out of the box. And over here, a little message: "Come back soon. Come back soon." That's very nice. Come back soon. I like this one here that just slowly ducks down behind the cupboard there. Just kind of hiding in the corner. And let's continue here. There's another funny little hideaway up here. You go up this ladder, it's just a little dead end. Just a slightly elevated position to look out on that little pathway behind us, but it does give us a good look at this garage and most fun I had in Call of Duty multiplayer. Pain, no pain, no pain. So I have very fond memories of this one. A little biohazard symbol there. And, oh, this is interesting. I've never noticed this before. That's funny. I'm surprised I didn't know this was here. This is a little flag from the Pack-a-Punch machine in the Zombies mode. When you are pack-a-punching your gun, this little flag pops up and it says, "Please wait. Please wait." I didn't know that was here. And in this building, you have this second floor area. It gives you a pretty good perspective on this central area of the map. But I think we've seen most of this map at this point. If we cross over across that central area, there is one more building that I want to check out. I also don't think I looked in here. Okay, we've just got ammunition boxes here, ammunition crates of ammunition. But yeah, the Call of Duty multiplayers in this era were just phenomenal. Tons of fun. Did it also have something to do with the fact that these games were all quarantine area, no entry? These games were all coming out at a time when I and everybody in my school was all playing Call of Duty on the rig, and we could all fill up a lobby together and just have a lot of fun as a grade. Maybe. It may very well have been pretty context dependent, restricted area DLC. But even with that social context bias, I do think that these were very good games. So we have this second floor area here. And I think that's about all there is to see on firing range. On firing range. So I think it may be time to move on to another classic map. Welcome to Summit. This is another one of the classic Black Ops maps for me. When I think of the first Black Ops, this is one of those maps that comes to mind very quickly. So, Summit, we are up. I don't know where this is located. Maybe in the Ural Mountains or something. This is based off of a campaign mission. So, if you just find out where that campaign mission is, you would know, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Somewhere in Russia or the Soviet Union, of course. And this frigid, snowy map is... You really see anything on these monitors, or... Oh, I love this little warming fixture here. actual space heaters, though. The ones that will, like, burn your house down or whatever. Because they're so unsafe. I'm kidding, I think their danger is actually a little bit overstated. I watched a YouTube video from, it's a channel I really like, but for some reason I'm struggling to remember the name. Technology Connections, I believe. He made a video on space heaters, and they were actually a lot safer than I expected. I feel like I've always, you've been told, if you're like me, if you've had my experience, feels like your whole life people are like, that space heater is going to spontaneously combust and burn your house down. But, not so much. I mean, still treat them in a completely safe manner, of course. Don't play with fate. Don't do anything stupid with a space heater. Alright, let's see if I still have it. Okay. That jump is a little tricky. You have to jump at just the right moment, the very last moment to make the jump. And it's been many, many years since I have played this game, so I was a little worried there for a second. But yeah, this little cable car you can hop into, and it's not a super useful position, to be honest, just because you're kind of exposed from multiple angles, but it's still fun to just hop into. And as long as you don't stay there very long, you can get some good use out of it. But the cables continue down into the mountainous, snowy mist. the skills to translate these signs, let me know. And even when they're not in foreign languages, I remember in the Call of Duty Ghosts video that I did, a lot of the English signs there were really nonsensical. It just didn't even really make any sense. So, I don't know if that's just, it doesn't even feel like incompetence per se. It'd be so strange to have those things written in that way in English because of incompetence. Maybe more just intentional. They thought it was funny or something. I don't know. These buttons look so satisfying to press. I can just imagine the sensation of the little chunk of pushing that button in. That looks very, very satisfying. That's another thing, these days with touch screens and stuff becoming so much more prominent. We've just lost all of these very satisfying tactile, mechanical interactions in our daily life, you know what I'm saying? Just think about cars, think about getting in a Tesla, where there's nothing in the Tesla except a screen. And even before Tesla, when touchscreens in cars were becoming more common, even if they weren't just a screen, it was replacing more and more of these little buttons and knobs and sliders and stuff. And I just miss them, I like buttons and twisting things and depressing things and pulling things and stuff, right? It feels satisfying to interact with something in a mechanical way and really feel a physical response. To get that sense of feedback, right? When we interact with things in the world, it's nice to have that sense of feedback physically. And touchscreens just don't provide you that feedback. And we get by, right? It doesn't stop people from using touchscreens. Obviously, phones are all touchscreens now for the most part. But I remember my old phone before I got my first iPhone. Just the clickiness of the buttons. And another nice thing about that was, your fingers become your eyes in a mechanical device like that, right? I could text without looking at my phone with a very high degree of accuracy. It's quite hard for me to text without looking at my phone with my iPhone. Just because, you sort of have an idea of how the keyboard looks, how it's oriented, where your finger is. But it's a kind of a vague notion. You don't have the actual mechanical, physical keyboard that you can run your fingers across and, know exactly where you are without even looking. And obviously, that doesn't mean I'm running to throw away my iPhone, but it's just something that I miss. As we transition more and more into touchscreens, I just miss all that old tactility. outside, we have a spinning radar array out here. And we've pretty much done a loop of the map at this point. This is a little side room to that large area we were just in. Some jackets and boots over here. Some more writing that is unintelligible to me. Couldn't even pronounce it. Headphones and a pair of goggles. A pair of headphones and a pair of goggles. A pair of pears. A pair of pears. Looks like a little punch clock area there. And over here we have the cable car arrival area where you can get in and get out of the cable cars. We were just down there before, a little while ago. And through this door, a small utility room that we cannot enter. The mechanism for bringing the cable cars up and lowering them down. Yeah, and here we are. Oh, we can check out what's in here too. Sort of a boiler behind this fence. You know, all these doors are just wide open. It's wasted a lot of energy, especially because they have all of those space heater fixtures just heating away. But with all of the windows open, or all the doors, pardon me, all that hot air is just being lost to the wind, to the alpine wind. It's crazy, man. The thermostat bill is just getting run up like crazy. My dad would beat the shit out of me. If I was running the AC in our house growing up, if I turned it on and the doors were just wide open, well, not, okay, first of all, I never turned on the AC in our house growing up. That was my dad's responsibility alone. And, no one else was allowed to touch that thing. Here we are on the map. Launch. And this is, well, I was gonna say, sort of well known. This map, honestly, what this map makes me think of is zombies. The zombies mode, because I would always, just play zombies a lot, and you could launch the rocket in zombies and blow it up with a ray gun. And so I would always do that, but that's not this map. I don't think you can blow this rocket up. When it does launch, and this rocket does launch partway through a match, I normally put the timer onto infinite for these wanderings, so that we can really take our time. But I wasn't sure if the rocket would ever launch with an infinite time, because I wasn't sure if it was set to trigger after a certain time, or once you reached a certain percentage of the way through the match. So, I have a 10-minute timer here, which is a little short for our wandering, but we will look around as much as we can and see these blueprints for a rocket here. And at some point, we will get to see the rocket take off, which will be fun. Some thruster or something there. A little poster on the wall here. Some kind of capsule or a satellite or something. Some more electrical warning signage. And let's continue down this way. We can find our way to the central, I don't know, the rocket runway or something. This little pathway that the rocket clasp lowers down onto, or lowers down above. Right here. There it is, there it is. This also, I would say, is a map I really enjoyed. I've said this before, but my favorite maps tend to be kind of closer quarters. You know, maybe medium range at most. I like turning corners and, you know, getting into sudden, unexpected engagements with somebody right around the corner. I like that intense close quarters feeling. I will say the sounds on this map are pretty aggressive. It keeps blowing these loud klaxon, siren things, and that is not very nice on the ears, so I am probably going to have to, well, not probably, I am going to have to edit the footage here a little bit, maybe paste over with some of the quieter moments on this map, or just use footage, or rather audio from a different map entirely. Okay, I think it's going now. Yep. Here we go. The ground is shaking. There it goes, ignition. We have ignition. We have a liftoff. And there goes the rocket. Doing I don't know what. Is that carrying a satellite? Is that a shuttle for astronauts? I wonder what that's going to be doing up there. Once it slips the surly bonds of Earth. That's cool. See how long we can see that trail before it fully disappears. Maybe it'll just go forever. Well, okay, no, it's gone. Yeah, so that is the launch of launch. The launch of launch. We can go down to the launch pad and look at where the rocket was. You can be killed by the ignition when all the flames bombs are coming out. So you have to be careful not to be caught under there when the rocket takes off. And that probably means exit, maybe. I don't know. Some kind of an emblem here. A world with the hammer and sickle on it. And sheaves of wheat on either side. Sort of a global, worldwide communism emblem. And another sign here. And off this way we can't access this area, but the CCCP. There's a mural over here denoting the glory of the Soviet Union. At a local museum, they were doing a display of Soviet-era artwork, which was pretty cool. I love going to the museum. I honestly don't go very often, but whenever I go, I really enjoy it. Just seeing whatever weird stuff they have that day, whatever exhibits they've got going on. It's also cool if you go to like your local sort of smaller scale museum, because often there will be, local artists and stuff like that. Sort of has a fun sense of community to it. Here's the launch pad, the rocket gone, of course. And like many of the maps, this is based off of a campaign mission. If we come up here, you can see the big, I don't even know what the structural importance of this area is, but this big depression in the ground in the campaign, you go along the side of it and end up going down and infiltrating the rocket launch site. Welcome to Cuba. This map is called Villa. Villa. We are outside this structure here. I'm not sure. I guess this is like a plantation house or something. But let's go inside and see what we can see. We've got some artwork of Fidel Castro on the wall here. Fidel Castro. And this villa is a little beat up, a little raggedy. It's a very prominent portrait right there above the fireplace. So this building, I think, has seen some better times. We have a little table here with some drinks on it, on a carpet by the fireplace. This little wall divider thing there. Some more Castro. Wall hanging, little tapestry there. And nothing else to really see in this main room. It's kind of empty. Out here, down this hallway, there's some windows and another Castro. Looks like an orange. Still kind of an empty area. This house is not looking too homey right now. It's looking quite depressing, actually. So, up here on the second floor, here's a bedroom. Some cans and bottles on these shelves over here. Bedroom with, what is this? It's a little too dark to read that. There is some netting around this bed to help keep the bugs out, I assume. I am not sure what this device is. It seems to be something to apply pressure from above, sort of squish downward, but I don't know what those little wooden blocks are, or why pressure would need to be applied to them. A window overlooking the pool, in the courtyard out there. A little screen. We can move on. BlOps, of course, a very sort of military thriller sort of plot. It's all this stuff about brainwashing and chemical weapons and the Cold War. The Cold War takes you to Cuba, Vietnam, the Soviet Union. It's a little globe-hopping storyline. And I did always prefer the Modern Warfare campaign, like the trilogy of the Modern Warfare games, storyline-wise. But the BlOps campaign was fun enough. I did enjoy it as well. And of course, there's some very famous moments in it. The numbers, Mason. And I'm just trying to think of, there was something I was thinking of in regards to the BlOps campaign, but it has suddenly fled my mind. It has fled my mind. But yeah, there's, obviously some very iconic moments, Reznov and all the revelations of the campaign. In case anybody hasn't played it, even after 15 years, I will not spoil what some of those revelations are, but there are some pretty major twists in the campaign, and it's the kind of thing that, it's fun to go back and play it a second time once you know all of the secrets, because it does change how you see certain events throughout the game. So it's a very fun campaign. BlOps, of course, is still going as a series, sort of. I mean, I don't really know how related it even is to this storyline. Warfare series is even worse. They're just rebooting the names and taking all of the characters, but just like starting from scratch in a way that I find very strange and creatively bankrupt. And they might be good games. I mean, if you like them, that's fine. You know, if they stand up on their own merits. I don't know. I haven't played them. But I just kind of have an issue with them from a creative ideology standpoint, I guess. It's the same problem I have with all of the endless remakes today of like the Disney live-action remakes of stuff, you know? I just find them very uninteresting conceptually. It doesn't mean that one couldn't be a good movie, but I just object to the project in general. Especially these days where they're so common. I'm not opposed to remaking things as a flat rule, you know. I think it's fine to remake something if you have a particular reason for doing so. But, you know, I mean, we all see it in the modern age. It's just endless remakes, reboots, and sequels to old franchises. There is still good stuff coming out, though, so it's not as though there's nothing to watch or enjoy, but it does feel like there's a lot of slop these days. Yeah, this villa has definitely seen better days. It's overgrown, run down. Doesn't really feel like anybody's even living here or has lived here for years. It's not completely crumbled, but it's definitely shown its age and shown some neglect. And this come out here shows us the front courtyard area. Down to the front gate. Seems to be some fighting going on in the background, so maybe this villa has been taken over as it was abandoned and it's taken over as a base of operations or something, a little command post. This might also be in one of the campaign levels. I don't remember. I think you do the Bay of Pigs invasion in the campaign, but I don't remember if that ties into this location at all. So we can explore this last little area here. This kind of, this corner up here, this statue has appeared throughout the villa. I don't know if this is like a specific character or... Holy cow. Okay, that statue is cheeked up, bro. She gotta pull out that wedgie, man. That was crazy. That did not look comfortable. Yeah, I don't know if that statue represents somebody in particular. If that is an existing piece of iconography, or if that's just a little design made for this game, but she's everywhere around this villa. There's a lot of her, this character. I'm just gonna call her the Wedgie statue. Many Wedgie statues around this villa. So we have a little garage area here, it seems. some holes in the roof, just another sign of the decrepitude of this complex. The jungle off in the distance, it seems. We're on the coast here. Looks like maybe a little road there, a little coastal road. An old bicycle. And up here we have the pool area. The pool area. A lowered little garden, flower garden area there. Here we have another portrait of Castro up by this bar with another one of those little pressure machines. Some kind of spigots there for something. I'm not sure what would come out of that. Paque al servido, gracias. Gracias. I know enough to know what gracias means. Azúcar, mojito, Cuban rum. Azúcar, mojito, Cuban rum. Azúcar, mojito, Cuban rum. A bathroom here. Couldn't pay me to sit on that thing. A nasty, nasty tile in here. And let's go back out to the pool. But there is an upstairs, I didn't realize, so let's just see what we have up here. We've got some fruit, a telephone, some shelving, a window overlooking that section of the compound. And nothing really more of note up here. Nothing of too much interest. So let's come out to the pool here. Walk through, refresh ourselves in the water. And cross over to the other side of the pool. We have a little umbrella for some shade. A little poolside bar there. Little poolside bar there. And the trees of the jungle of that direction. But you know what, I think that about wraps up our exploration of Black Ops maps today. I almost got to the video without a loud stomach rumble. So I hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did. And I will see you next time. Until then, my friends,